Hey everybody, Chuck Freeman here, Locked On Brewers on remote after the Brewers just waltzed through St. Louis. They strolled through St. Louis like they were nothing. The Cardinals, the bottom feeders, like we've always talked about them being. Here they are, and looking up to the great Milwaukee Brewers, taking 3 of 4 in St. Louis, steamrolling their way toward an NL Central Division title. We'll talk about all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You betcha the Brewers dominated in St. Louis for the final 3 games of that series. Sure, Wainwright had his moment in the sun on Monday, but then the Brewers came right back and destroyed them with their pitching staff, allowing just 6 runs in 4 games. 6 runs in 4 games. The pitching has just been amazing. I said this on a podcast earlier today. The Milwaukee Brewer pitching has never been better in its franchise history. I challenge anybody, look out there and find Brewer pitching as dominant as it's been. And on Thursday, it was Wade Miley going out there, striking out 7, 6 strong innings. You got Tehran into the game. Whoever thought he was going to be pitching again for the Milwaukee Brewers this year? You were so comfortable with that game, no matter who was pitching, because the Brewers were just rolling, and they are. St. Louis, enjoy your off season. Enjoy the golf courses, because you definitely didn't want to be there. The Cardinals did not want to be there, especially after Caratini hit the 3-run jack. That was game, set, and match right there. Blake Perkins, an early home run. And I'm telling you what, it was fun to watch today. It was fun to watch, to see our team going out there and being the dominant team. I announced 37,000 fans at Busch Stadium. That must have been sold tickets, because there was about 15,000. The greatest fans in baseball, the Cardinal fans. Yeah, they were fine the other night with Wainwright pitching, but there were no one to be found there at Busch Stadium today. A lot of Brewer fans, though. But Caratini, 3-run blast. How about the job the Brewers continue to get from the catcher spot? Whether it's Contreras or Caratini, every once in a while. He's kind of like the unsung hero of this team, Victor Caratini, because he comes up when he needs to get in the game and give Contreras a spell at the catcher spot. He comes up and he delivers every time. Almost every time. All right. Also, Mark Canha. More and more people I see are giving Mark Canha attention. Now, I don't know if it's because he was a former New York Met, but Mark Canha is coming in and continuing to give big at-bats for this baseball team. And yeah, at the time, the Brewers at the trading deadline are doing all these bargain basement moves, and Mark Canha wasn't a high-profile move at all. Not at all. The high-profile move they made was there wasn't a Carlos Santana, if you want to call it that, but they didn't have to give up any big-time prospects for anybody. And here, they go out and get Canha, and he has been one of the top cogs on this team. I don't think there's anybody who deny it. One of the top cogs. His 3-run double on Wednesday night. Yeah, I'm on a Mark Canha love fest, and he deserves it, because that guy has been fantastic. Josh Donaldson, somebody tweeted at me, what are we going to do with Josh Donaldson? I say you just keep running him out there, okay? You'll worry about third base next year. But because Josh, he hit the 3-run home run on Wednesday night, and every once in a while, he's gonna catch up with one, okay? He's a veteran bat. You know it's there. You know that there's talent in there. He's 37 years old, but you know what the guy can do. We saw it in the first inning the other night. We've seen it at times this year. He's doing a nice job defensively at third base. What do you got to lose? This is what you're saddled with at this point. So I'm okay with continuing to run Donaldson at third base. Donaldson, run him out there every game. He's batting 155. He's playing third base. This is where we're at. Interesting stat from Mike Vassallo, the outstanding media relations director of the Milwaukee Brewers. He tweeted out, this is the sixth year in a row, not including 2020, because that was a wasted season. We don't count anything in 2020. Yeah, Devin won Rookie of the Year, but I mean, that was such a 60-game season. What can you say about that? But in the last 6 seasons, not including 2020, the Brewers have won at least 86 games. 86 games. That's the second best in the National League next to the LA Dodgers. But you know what? They've only been to the NLCS one time, and that was 2018. So odd that they've won 86 or more games, but they can't get by the divisional series, and in some cases, the wild card round. So hopefully that narrative changes. And yeah, Brewer fans, I think some of you guys are out there were asking me, breaking down that wall. And this Brewer team needs to break down that wall because we've been 2021 been disappointed, 2018, at least they got to the NLCS Game 7. Okay. But they have to break the door down and get to at least the NLCS. And I know the Braves and the Dodgers are great teams. I get it. But you cannot bust out in the wild card round. Cannot. And somehow have to go with a 3-man rotation. I want to see Woodruff start game 1, Burns 2, Peralta 3, and Miley in middle relief or whatever. Do what you have to do. And Hauser definitely in middle relief, even though, you know, those two guys have been great. Miley was fantastic. Miley deserves to play a start a postseason game. The only problem is with Miley is there's 3 guys I like better than him who I want to start every postseason game. I want to start, this is the postseason, I want to start Woodruff, Burns, and Peralta, even though it's not a regular rest. Now, 2 days rest would be absurd, but I want to start those guys every game, all right? And I'll take Miley, and even though Miley's been terrific for this team, no strike against him, but the other guys have been that much greater. And that's how I'm going to go in the postseason. 86 wins. How about that? Every year since 2017, and we're not including the pandemic year where we had to play 60 games. Brewers on their way. 20-game lead on St. Louis. That is so cool to see. But the pitching, 6 runs in 4 games. Absolutely fantastic for the Milwaukee Brewers. Okay, when we return, we're going to talk more about what's ahead for the Brewers. Big series coming up in Miami. Chuck Freeman here on remote doing this show. The show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Snap into the action with the NFL this year. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. You've been thinking about joining FanDuel. There's no better time to do it. So easy to use. Spreads, player props, over and unders. It's all there on FanDuel. FanDuel's got everything you need for the NFL season and Major League Baseball playoffs as well. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. This is Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We come back, we'll talk about when is Yelich ever going to come back. We'll talk about what other Brewers have done in his place. The Miami series coming up. And more greatness, which is Milwaukee Brewers. That's next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host. Brewers start a series in Miami. That is going to be coming up on Friday night, which is tonight for some of you people who are watching this episode, 5:40 with the broadcast time on SiriusXM, the SXM app. Search Brewers. You're going to get every game of Brewer baseball on SiriusXM, the SXM app. I'd say follow the Cubs too, but the Cubs are in the rear of your mirror. And I know some of you Cub fans are coming at me. Some of you guys are coming at me, and there's no reason because scoreboard says Milwaukee Brewers. Don't be coming at me, Chicago Cub fans, because you're 7.5 games out and about to be eliminated from the divisional race. And you know what? I hope we see the Cubs postseason. Oh, yeah, the Cub fans are tweeting at me saying, oh, wait till we see you guys in the postseason. Well, what happened in game 163 back in 2018? So don't give me any of that. We got a scoreboard over you guys any day of the week here from Cub fans. So, by the way, Chuck Freeman, I never introduced myself. I was so quick to get in this podcast today. Join us on Google, Spotify, Apple, on all the downloads. Anywhere you get your podcasts, join us. We're on Apple. Apple is the #1 download place for Locked On Brewers. We're the #1 podcast on the internet because of you great Brewer fans out there who download us every day and follow us right here on Locked On Brewers. And of course, go to YouTube. We've crawled over the 2,000 mark. Yes, we did. We're at 2,002 going into tonight. So we're going to keep it going. Let's push for 3,000 now. But I want to thank you, everybody. I did a little run here that I said, hey, please, let's get over 2,000. I wanted to get over 2,000. I took over when it was just over 1,000, or it might have been just under 1,000. And we've been going strong ever since because of you great fans, Milwaukee Brewer fans. Christian Yelich has missed 11 of the last 12 games, and he's got the back. And they're not putting him on the injured list, but the more time he misses, the more time I worry about whether or not Yelich is going to come back to this team and be a productive member of this team. Because 11 of the last 12 games, and the Brewers, during this time, they've pulled away. And it's not that they don't need Yelich, because they do. You need every bat once you get to October baseball. They've been able to clinch without him. Other guys have stepped up. Tyrone Taylor has just been on an amazing tear. Mark Canha, I mentioned. And Sal Frelick, he's got a streak of, I believe, 17 straight days where he's been on base. And he keeps it going, Sal Frelick. So they've been able to cover up for the loss of Yelich in the leadoff spot, but they need Yelich. The Yelich, I think, is going to have some big moments in this postseason. But you wonder, the Brewers aren't going to come out and tell us exactly how badly Yelich is hurt, or how not injured, but how badly the back is barking at him. But we want Yelich. We need Yelich. Don't think for a second we don't need Yelich on this team, because we do. Need him at the postseason. But other guys have stepped up, and that's been huge. Despite Yelich being not on the injured list, but just not able to go. Tried the back out a couple of days ago in the outfield, and just was not very good. So the back was not very good. Yelich good, but the back just wasn't very good. All right. The greatness that is the Milwaukee Brewers. Can they keep this pitching up going into the postseason? I mean, it's been going on since April. It doesn't matter who they're throwing out there. Colin Ray, Adrian Hauser, Wade Miley, and of course your three gems, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, and Freddie Peralta. The pessimist says to me, I hope the bottom doesn't fall out in the postseason with their pitching. You know, it did sort of. CeCe was on such a great run in 2008, and it kind of fell out a little bit for him in 2008 in the postseason against Philadelphia, as I recall. But man, they're pitching so good. They can't. I mean, 6 runs in 4 games they've given up. That's phenomenal. And the St. Louis Cardinals, yeah, they look like they mailed it in. They didn't want to be there. You know, this Cardinal pride that they talk about, that they're going to go out there and it doesn't matter. Oh gosh, Brewers stomped on them in the last 3 games of the series. And Wainwright got their number on Monday, but still taking 3 of 4, taking another series. The Milwaukee Brewers did. That's what we got to do. Keep taking series. The magic number is 3 going into the night game, Pittsburgh and Chicago at Wrigley Field. We'll talk more about the Brewers clinching coming up here in just a bit. First of all, the show is also brought to you by DoorDash. Missing the syrup for your pancakes, or you just ran out of your favorite coffee creamer? With DoorDash grocery delivery, you can get what you want right when you need it. Love the convenience of getting what you want right to your door. DoorDash grocery delivery. You could stop up for a week or order last-minute cravings conveniently. Burn that last piece of toast. The avocado's gone bad. Or the hot sauce bottle empty. By gosh, don't let that happen to you. Try grocery delivery from DoorDash. You'll get everything you need. Delivery when you need it, right to your door. You need fresh groceries for the week. You don't have time to go to the store. Try grocery delivery from DoorDash. Everything you want it delivered right to your door. It is an excellent way to go. And right now, get 50% off your first DoorDash order up to $20 value when you use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB at checkout. Limited time offer. Again, that promo code LOCKEDONMLB, 50%, up to 50%, up to a $20 no minimal subtotal, and 0 delivery fees on your first order when you download the download app, DoorDash, in the App Store. Enter that Locked On MLB, and you are going to get your discount. Don't forget that code, Locked On MLB, 50% off your first DoorDash. Also, this show is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Hey, the shorts of Bird Dogs. I got some gray ones. I got some white ones. I've been wearing them every day. I've been wearing them every day because we've had summer lake weather here in Wisconsin. Temperatures have been in the 70s and it's been going out. They stretch. They fit the curve of your body. If you're a little overweight, like I might be, they're perfect for you. Expandable, yet they're not baggy, and they do exactly what you want them to do. They're not tight fabric at all. Sometimes you get some of that tight fabric when you buy shorts, and it's not good. This isn't. This one bends with you, and I'm telling you, the Bird Dogs are the way to go. And right now, you can show off your shorts, shirts, and pants to the rest of your neighborhood, and a September gift with a purchase of a water bottle. I got my bottle in the mail when I bought my purchase. Go to birddogs.com, locked on XXX. Enter the promo code locked on XXX at checkout for the free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. birddogs.com/locked on XXX for your free water bottle at checkout. We come back, we'll talk about this Miami series coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host. Good to have you along here on a late Thursday night, Friday morning. Doing the show remotely. Wasn't going to skip doing the show. Had to do the show today. 3 of 4, the Brewers win in St. Louis, and they move on to Miami for a big 3-game series with the Marlins. Marlins are fighting for a wild card spot. Get it on SiriusXM, the SXM app. Search Brewers. You get all 162 of Brewers baseball on SiriusXM, the SXM app. How about this rotation? This is how exactly I want to line up. We're going to line up for the postseason. And Miami's going to get a little taste of it this weekend. Burns, Woody, and Peralta, Friday through Sunday. How'd you like to walk into the Miami clubhouse knowing you're going to have to face Burns, Woody, and Peralta in the next 3 days, the way they've been pitching? I see clinch this weekend coming. Don't you all? I see that the Brewers are going to clinch this division. The magic number is 3. By the end of Thursday night, it could be down to 2, depending on if the Pirates can take care of the Cubs. And the Cubs are left fighting for a wild card spot. Too bad, Cubs. And the Cardinals, they're making tea times right now. They're making fishing plans because they are not going to the postseason. Who the Brewers will face in the postseason, we'll be talking about a lot of that next week, because I think by the time we get back here doing full episodes, the Brewers will have indeed clinched the division title. And this is great because we thought the Brewers and Cardinals would fight it out for a division title. We didn't think they'd have to fend off a charge by Cincinnati middle part of the season and a late run by the Cubs. But just like a thoroughbred at the racetrack, they were charging, but then they faded off down the stretch. And here come the Brewers down the stretch, taking over the division title, strong to the finish. Some teams in September baseball, they don't finish strong. The Milwaukee Brewers finished strong in September. They did. Some teams get to September and they completely fall apart. The Milwaukee Brewers, they saved perhaps their best baseball for late summer, early fall. They're putting up, I believe, 3 or 4 times now in the last week, they've put up 4 or more runs in an inning. So they're putting up crooked numbers in an inning. Those were hard to come by earlier in the season. They're getting great pitching. Now, you just hope this all shows up in the postseason. You don't know what team is going to show up in the postseason. Is it going to be a team that comes out and relies solely on their pitching staff and they're having to win games 1-0 or 2-1? I don't know. That remains to be seen. The Braves series in 2021, the divisional series, they didn't hit, and that cost them the series. 2019, wild card, ended up costing them. 2018, well, ultimately, a couple of those games in Los Angeles and back here at Game 7, offense costed them. Okay. We'll have to see what Brewers team shows up in the postseason, but I'm not going to worry about that yet. I'm enjoying the Brewers pulling away in the division and turning on the tube. Yeah, I was not fretting after getting shut out by Wainwright on Monday. I came here to the podcast mic and I said, no big deal. Brewers, they'll get them in the series, at least a split, because that's the way the Brewers operate. And they do. And the Cardinals, Brewers took that Tuesday night game and they just kept rolling right through them. And to the finish line we go this weekend. Miami's going to be tough. Okay. Miami's going to be tough. And if they don't clinch this weekend against Miami, which I think they'll do, There's always the Cardinals. Nothing better than clinching against the Cardinals next week at home at AmFam Field. See the celebration on the field? Yeah. Would I like to see that happen? Yes, but I want to get this done as quickly as possible. Make those 7 games against the Cardinals and Cubs meaningless next week. Make them meaningless. All right, Brewers and Marlins coming up. Sirius XM, the SXM app, search Brewers. You get all 162 of Brewers baseball. That's coming up on Friday night from Miami. You'll get all the games and, of course, every baseball game on Sirius XM, the SXM app. Download us on Google, Spotify, Apple, and, of course, on YouTube, our growing YouTube page. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. You're going to get every episode of Locked On Brewers right on your video screen. It's going to do it for the show today. Thanks for everybody for joining us. Hang in there, guys. Celebration coming up in a matter of time for this division title for our Milwaukee Brewers. You Brewer fans out there more than deserve it. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. So long, everybody.